Everybody with an iPhone has a pre-installed app called Apple Health. Most of you probably do not know what this is. You probably opened it once when you got the phone and then never opened it again. Apple Health is considered a health tracking platform, which is really just a glorified spreadsheet. Android phones have this in the form of Google Fit, but I'm an Apple user, I'll be talking about the former. Let me show you what a health tracking platform is good for. Inside Apple Health, we have all of these various health categories, more categories than you probably even knew existed. But for the most part, it's empty. Let's check out the weight category. Let's say I weighed myself this morning and I was 200 pounds. I can come in here, manually add a data point, say what I weighed and when I weighed it. Then I weigh myself next week and the week after, and over time I accumulate data and it will graph it for me. So Apple Health is just the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is useless without data. By default, the only data Apple Health is going to have is coming from the iPhone speedometer. It records steps taken, distance walked, and flights climbed. But let's go back to the weight section here. Let's say I'm too lazy to manually write down what I weighed every week, but not too lazy to try and lose weight. Most scales that are sold today have companion apps and Bluetooth functionality. So every time you weigh yourself, it will Bluetooth your weight to the app. And then if you give it permission, the app can write the weight data over to Apple Health. Then let's say you're using a calorie counter like MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal wants to know what your weight is. It wants to help you lose weight. But there might also be other apps that want to know what your weight is, and it will become very annoying to constantly have to update your weight every time you weigh yourself, unless you give MyFitnessPal permission to read the weight data from Apple Health. That way, once you weigh yourself and Apple Health gets updated, all of the apps that care about your weight are also updated. The idea is that all of your health apps should be on the same page, and that same page is Apple Health. Now, I have tried using every calorie counter available on the App Store, and not a single one of them gets it right. But just about all of them have the same set of features. You need to log what you eat, and they all will also want you to log what you drink. But who has time for that? Seriously, it's already hard enough to log and write down every single thing you eat during the day. To add on top of that, everything you drink is absurd. I tried it several times before conceding and thinking, certainly somebody out there has just made a Bluetooth water bottle that automatically detects how much water I drink. And that's exactly what the Hydrate Spark is. I've used this water bottle for over a year. Basically, it just has this little sensor that goes up through the middle of it. And when the bottle's upright, it measures the water level and constantly is beaming that data over to my phone via Bluetooth. There are apps like WaterMinder that are specifically for measuring your water intake, and I'll use this when I go to restaurants and whatnot. But 95% of my water intake data, I never even have to think about. It's just passively recorded. And that's really what I want to talk about in this video, is passive data recording. Advances in ambient computing have given us the opportunity to have vast amounts of data recorded about us and our personal health that will help us and our doctors get a better idea of our health situations. Obviously, there's the ethical debate about whether we should trust Apple with all of this data, but that's not an argument I'm getting into today. There are lots of apps out there that are capable of analyzing your sleep and writing sleep data to Apple Health. Some do it using the microphone, some do it using the gyroscope. There's a lot of Apple Watch sleep analysis apps around now, which I don't understand, because where you watch to sleep, when do you charge it? That's a serious question open to the floor. I am not nearly conscientious enough to run a sleep analysis app every night before I go to bed, especially if I'm drunk. So I bought the Bedit 3.5 sleep sensor, which is disgustingly overpriced, but hey, I'm making a video about it, so it's okay, right? The sleep sensor is supposed to know when someone's laying on it awake and when someone's laying on it asleep. So as soon as you lay down in bed, it should pair with your iPhone and start recording data. This works pretty well right up until it doesn't. If you miss one night, it just gives up and assumes you're dead, and you have to open the app, repair your Bedit, and start again. It may be several days before you notice it's not recording data anymore, so you end up with these huge gaps. Also, if you have a dog that likes to steal your spot, it'll think they're you. Now, the final set of data that I was really interested was caffeine. Most calorie counters don't actually offer the ability to write caffeine data, which I find bizarre. I found an app called Recaf that lets you create all of these caffeine presets, but again, I wanted passive data recording. So I bought the Ember mug, which is just a battery-powered mug that you can buy at Starbucks. This is by far the worst of the passive data recording products I got. Every time you fill up the mug, you have to tell it what you're drinking, and it'll often just disconnect and forget before you're finished. You have to put in about as much effort into making sure the mug is properly logging data as you would to just do it manually. But I'm pretty sure the Apple Health integration was an afterthought. The mug's purpose is just to keep your drink warm, and then later they thought, hey, we should be able to just write caffeine data if we want to, so I guess they get a few points back for that.
All right. It's been sitting here 10 minutes. Time to test.
Moment of truth.
I swear to you, this is just as hot as it was 10 minutes ago.
That's tremendous.
Just as hot. I mean, this is amazing.
Smartwatches are able to record and add all kinds of data, whether it's Fitbit, Apple Watch, or whatever. They're able to read the heart rate on your wrist as well as get movement data from your arms. If your watch knows your height and weight, that means it'll be able to calculate your active calories burned. But where am I going with this? What is this all leading towards? Nobody's going to go buy overpriced versions of everyday products just so that they can happen to have all of this data when their doctors ask for it. My personal mission was to make all of this data as passive as possible, and the best you can do with today's technology still isn't that good. Especially calorie counting. That is the most tedious part, and it is the part most everybody's going to fail at after a few days. Which sucks because that is the #1 most important factor to your health, literally what you're putting inside of your body. Just about every app has tried to streamline this as much as possible. First of all these apps let you scan the barcodes of products and it just automatically knows the information and logs it for you. That helps speed things up a lot. Just about every restaurant in America is required to have their nutrition data public. So most of these apps have access to nutrition tables from any popular restaurant like McDonald's or Subway. Many apps are trying, and not really succeeding, to make the camera also be able to just scan food.
We knew Jen Yang's app was in the food space, but we assumed that it was camera-based. Like, you take a photo of food, the app returns nutritional information, or recipes, or how it was sourced.
Yeah, like Shazam for food.
Exactly. But this is...
Shazam for food.
But we are nowhere near that being good enough. Like, at best, it can identify a simple item, like a hot dog or chicken breast. It has no idea how much of it there is. It has no idea if there's any special seasoning or oils on it that might make things different. In a previous video, I talked about the inevitability of all of us wearing computerized glasses on our faces. More than likely, these glasses are going to have 1 or 2 cameras pointed forwards at all times. In theory, these glasses could be used to look at and identify every bite of everything you take as you put it into your body. And imagine if on the glasses displays themselves, there's a little heads-up display on the top right corner that shows you how many calories you've eaten out of your total at any given time. There are many people who would be completely opposed to this feature, and that's totally fine. But for those of us that are very interested in monitoring this kind of data, this would be super useful and way less work than it is today, as long as it's accurate. Another thing that many people might be opposed to is a smart toilet with sensors that analyze your feces and urine. Obviously that's pretty gross, but think of all the useful data in there. Your phone might tell you after scanning, hey, you ate way too much sodium yesterday, take it easy today. Or you might be able to find early indicators of disease like cancer. It may even be advantageous to add your raw DNA file to Apple Health if you have one. The Lose It calorie counter app I use allows you to upload the file and it analyzes it for eating habits. It told me I'm not genetically predisposed to being obese, so I guess I can't use that as an excuse. Compared to what the future might offer, our ambient health computing of today is archaic. And I find it a shame that not many people even really understand or utilize this functionality in our phones. Now, I could be quick to blame the users themselves for ignoring health tracking platforms, but I have a lot more to say about the $72 billion weight loss industry. You see, every calorie counter app I've tried offers a premium subscription service that offers all of these extra features and tips. None of them just want to be a data source in your health tracking platform. They all want to be the health tracking platform. For example, MyFitnessPal wants you to log what you eat, what you drink, how you sleep, and the exercise that you do, so that it can all be a one-stop shop for your weight loss. See, companies like this don't actually want you to lose weight. I find it pretty funny that so many boomers even fall for this kind of shit. They're like gyms. They don't make money off people losing weight. They make money off people intending to lose weight. In general, only about 20% of people with a gym membership actually show up to that gym regularly. Meaning most of the money that gyms make comes from people who never use the gym. I imagine companies like Weight Watchers, Fitbit, and Noom have similar business models. It's not in these companies' best interest for their customers to lose weight because then they're no longer potential customers. Here, you want to lose weight? I'll explain like 90% of it. I'm serious. First, you measure your weight and height. Then you want to use that data to calculate your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. This number is the number of calories that your body consumes per day doing nothing. Any exercise you do burns calories on top of this number. Generally, people burn about an additional 500 calories depending on your gender and your activity level. So your resting calories plus your active calories gives you your total energy expenditure. Third, you count your calorie intake during the day. If you consume more calories than you expend, your body stores that energy in fat. If you consume fewer calories than you expend, your body pulls that energy from stored fat. It's a simple equation of in versus out. There are more complications you can get into like macronutrients, but like I said, the in and out is like 90% of weight loss. And no weight loss companies are going to make it that simple for you. They want you to rely on them, not rely on yourself. And health tracking platforms give you the tools to take your health into your own hands rather than outsourcing the work for $15 a month. Companies like this would rather you never know that health tracking platforms existed. So lately they've been working tirelessly to monopolize the entire concept before customers get wise. So when I talk about the future of having the potential for passive data recording on behalf of your health, the primary obstacles are the billions of dollars being made by shitty companies that do not, under any circumstances, want the world to be healthier. But I understand users generally aren't interested in health tracking platforms, so that's why I'm urging you all, please take your health into your own hands.